Have a comment? Have a question? Let's get after it. I'm Chris Cuomo, and welcome to this special edition of the Chris Cuomo Project, where it's all about you, whether it's here or on News Nation. These shows, these projects, this content, it's all about trying to funnel what you care about and what you want to know more about. So if you have a comment, what you like, what you don't like, and why, or a question for me, or maybe you can tell me something that I didn't know. That should be easy enough. That's what this is all about. So let's get after it.
Hey, Chris, this is Amanda. I have a question for you. Given what's happened with Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon, which I know you addressed, what do you think about journalism integrity inside the newsroom versus outside? Should it be separate, newsroom versus personal life? What you say outside of the newsroom versus inside of the newsroom. Okay, have a great day. Bye.
It's a good question. Probably a little too idealistic, though. It'd be nice if people could say, hey, look, here's what I think, but I'm going to be covering this straight. They get conflated. People attack, play gotcha. They punish you for honesty or candor. That's why I think that this idea of objectivity is overwrought. I think it's very hard for a human being to be objective about anything. You have thoughts, feelings, history, experience, and I think that all benefits journalism. So I think that the standard we're really talking about is fairness. Fairness. Are there two sides, three sides? How much weight do they each deserve? What people dismiss as both sidesing, there are two problems. One is where one side is way worse than the other one on a particular issue, but you make it seem like both are the same. Okay, I don't think I do that. I get accused of it sometimes. But I think that the reason I'm being miscast in that way, and many others get this same treatment, is because so many of you are so into oppositional politics where you don't want to hear anything about your side. It's completely zero sum for you. It's only got to be that Trump is a liar and he should be indicted and thrown in jail and this and that. It doesn't matter that the consequence winds up being way far afield from anything that's likely. But you don't want to hear anything about Biden or anybody else, or vice versa. I don't want to hear anything about Trump because I think everybody in government is corrupt. So it doesn't matter that he may actually represent exactly what I want to stop, even if he's selling me something different. See, that's not both sidesing. That's you, or that's someone just wanting confirmation bias. You just want what you already believe to be magnified. And that certainly is not journalism.
I'd like to ask you a question. I had an idea for immigrants where they could send them to help farmers throughout, the U.S., the nation, and they'd have to, be allowed to work, of course. But that would be much better than sending them to universities or school gyms. I think it would be more beneficial for the farmers and for everyone. Bye-bye.
Look, here's the truth. They come here because people need them, okay? Of course they want a better way of life. They're making tremendous sacrifice. They're leaving everyone and often everything that they have and know. And it's dangerous. And people get hurt and they're extorted and often forced to do things and violated along the way. It's very dangerous for many of them who choose to come in ways that are illegal, or even if they're going to be legal, but they have to get to the port of entry in very extreme ways. So why do they do that? Well, they want a better life. There's a desperation there, but there's also a need. It's supply and demand. People hire them. Many of the big employers even help with this, almost near conscription of people from other countries. They motivate people to come. They finance a lot of things. Sometimes there's even reports that they work with the cartels and other illegal emissaries and agents that make these things happen. So, of course, people are going to be hiring them. They should be paying taxes. They should be paying for the services that they use in these communities, the corporations that hire them, the big employers in agribusiness, farming, and others should have to treat them with the respect and dignity and rights and privileges that they do their other labor and pay them the same way. But that doesn't happen. Why? This is all about the game. We just happen to demonize one aspect of it. which is the migrant. Why? Because you can see them. And a lot of them can be otherized. The brown menace, as I characterize them as a pejorative for what I believe the former president was selling you guys during the first campaign, that there's these boogeymen coming here to kill and rape and take your women. Does that happen? Yeah. Does it happen a lot more with citizens than with migrants? Yeah. They didn't tell you that part. Why? It's not scary. Doesn't help motivate what this is all about, which is the game and selling you on fear and seeing him as an answer when really the answer is systemic. Rule changes about asylum, rule changes about working and taxes, rule changes about what happens when you enter illegally, process issues and personnel so that you can process more and house more people the right way. We know how to fix this. This isn't hard. They don't fix it because the problem works better than the solution politically. It makes it easier to blame and play the game.
Hi, Chris. I never missed your show on CNN. I'm also beyond living the Chris Cuomo project. I have to admit that before Trump ran the second time, I really had not voted. The main reason being that we never really had a huge reason to worry about our president having the best interest of our country. Sadly, when Trump ran for presidency, it changed a lot of things in our country when he was president, and not for the better. I knew that I had to vote. I have been telling my family exactly what you were talking about, and that is that we most definitely do need to not vote Democrat or Republican, and supporting an independent is what would be the best thing for our country and its citizens, which the parties no longer prioritize as the people that live in this country. They fight with each other and spend their terms making sure the other looks worse than the other for votes so they can get reelected the next time. Here's my big question. How do we go independently? How do we get voters to see what is really happening and get us all on board to making the government be about the country and the citizens instead of party? I don't want to vote for any of the Democrat candidates, and I beyond won't vote for any of the Republican candidates. What if we vote independent? Our vote won't count. So how do we go independent? Please cover that and kind of give us some ideas on how we do that. Thanks for all that you do. Keep the fight going.
You identify a lot of the problems with the system, but you also identify the solution, which is being a critical thinker and opening yourself to doing it differently. My feeling is the less that you adhere to just party first mentality in politics, the more the parties will have to come to you and offer things and people that are different than just, we'll stop the other side because they're worse. We're making it way too easy for people to get elected. It's really about money and a message that attacks the other side and makes people feel afraid of things. That's really what it's come down to. And why wouldn't they do that? Everybody takes the path of least resistance, especially when it comes to acquisition and retention of power. So if you're running against somebody else and you know that the easiest way to get it done is to make them look bad, that's what you'll do. Because that's what the game rewards and incentivizes. So that's what happens most, especially in a two-party system. Well, I don't want to vote for an independent. Look, we need some big changes, okay? And I don't know that they happen because the parties don't want them to happen. So, having closed primaries in states is a big problem because you wind up getting more extreme candidates because the people who vote in the primaries wind up being more zealous voters, more committed voters, and those voters tend to have more extreme ideas. So primaries have lower voter turnout and they're fringe voters more by population. So it winds up being a magnified minority, which is also what we see on social media. So many of the voices there are extreme ones. So the answer is exactly what you're doing. You don't want to be about the party. You see the game. You want to change the game, and you want to vote for people on the basis of their ideas. And the more people follow that, the less the game can overwhelm our culture. Listen, you're running a small business, man. You're busy, okay? You don't have a lot of time, and the only thing you have less than time is money. So you got to be efficient, and that's why you go to Indeed.com. You can attract, you can interview, and hire all in one place. And look, it's not like you're taking a risk, all right? 3 million businesses have signed up with Indeed.com. They're clearly showing the way and how to get it done if you need to hire. And look, it's got to be easy. It's got to be quick. and it has to be efficient. And that's what Indeed.com is all about. And to make it easy, how about this? $75 sponsored job credit. Go to Indeed.com/Chris C. Limited time offer. $75 credit. Indeed.com/Chris C. So you'll go there and, you support the show by saying you heard about it on the podcast. And that's the Chris C part, right? Terms and conditions apply, but this will help you boost your job listing and get you hired even faster. Get who you need so you can do what you want. Indeed.com. One of our sponsors who supports us is Cozy Earth. And I dig it. I'll tell you why. Because I like things that are good to use, that I enjoy, and that also give me that little bit of doing the right thing feels. And that's what Cozy Earth does. Why? Because their textiles are made from bamboo. Their sleep clothes, their bedding, they're like temperature regulating. And so as a result, when you want to be cool, they help you stay cool. When you want to be warm, they help you stay warm. And look at the thousands of 5-star reviews. And if you don't like it, they'll refund your purchase price plus the shipping, no questions asked. And get this, you get 100 nights to try them out. 100 nights. So I don't even know that my sheets last that long, by the way, especially with the dogs living in them. And you know what? She hasn't ripped through it with her claws yet. How can Cozy Earth make such a guarantee? Because they know that the bedding made from their viscose bamboo is better. And they know people are going to like it. So for a limited time, you can save up to 40% on Cozy Earth through the show. Go to CozyEarth.com/Chris. Enter the promo code Chris at checkout, and you're going to save up to 40%. I mean, come on. Try them for 100 nights. If you don't sleep cooler, send them back for a full refund. You can't lose. CozyEarth.com/Chris.
And now we're going to do comments from the YouTube channel. This is from your piece about Ron DeSantis and Elon Musk. Since when was Biden tested? Green Hornet writes. He gets puff questions from the Biden media and he fumbles an exit. If you consider what you are saying as critical thinking, then your teachers failed you.
Did your teachers fail you if the best you can do is be completely negative about every sense of your assessment of the dynamic? You offer nothing to make it better. You offer no proof of the same. You think Biden's the first president to fall down? He happens to be an old man, okay? It shouldn't be surprising that he has problems with his gait, okay? It gets a lot of attention. He has a stutter, okay? It's a medical condition. He gets a lot of heat for having a stutter, okay? He's not tested enough. Look, it's a relative assessment. He also hides from the media, which works, by the way. Ask Ron DeSantis. So, does he get hammered the way Trump did? No, but he doesn't put as much out there the way Trump did. Okay? So Trump was getting more at-bats, period. Does the media like Biden more than Trump? Man, that's an easy question to answer. It's almost got to be yes. And Trump made it almost impossible to like him. He was constantly being antagonistic and making people's lives harder by personalizing his pushback. So, he asked for it. He got what he asked for.
This is from your interview with Rainn Wilson. Why don't more politicians do what your pop did and take calls from the public? I'm having you grab this. We got this. We haven't hung it up on the wall yet. But this is from your dad's show. And Rainn talked about how he used to listen to your dad's show. I'd pull it back. I can't adjust the focus of the camera from here. But Rainn said he used to listen to your dad's show. What did he do? And
look at the ab strength. The ab strength. My father would have loved this. My father used to do flutter kicks all the time. Look, my father, may rest in peace. My father was a huge fan of debate and confrontation. He loved the exchange of ideas. He loved argument. And he had a great facility with words and ideas, and he did a lot of homework, and he had a lot of deep conviction. Many in public service don't check all those boxes. And even if they wanted to, they now know that they exist in a system where people are out to get you 24/7, 365. And it is a gotcha game. And it's all about downside protection. And it's really created a disconnect where we don't want to talk to each other anymore. I was reading this story the other day about how The View has changed, where they're really not open to lots of different points of view. That it's predominantly a lefty show, and they have their biases, and they shut people down on a regular basis. Now, I know a few of the players, not well, and certainly not recently, other than Whoopi. Now, I don't see Whoopi that way. Whoopi has her own convictions, okay? My only problem with Whoopi is I think she apologizes to you guys too much. And I know she does that because she just comes from a place of gratitude and trying to do the right thing as much as she can. That's who she is as a person. But I tell you what, man, apologies don't mean what they used to. Now they're just admissions of guilt. And by somebody who's not looking to receive. There's an interesting thing. An apology doesn't have to just be offered. It has to be received. So if I'm coming from a bad place and the person who I'm asking for the apology from is coming from a good place, that's a bad mix. Because we're about to have a new set of wrongs that come down because I'm going to use the apology against them. And that's the opposite of what that dynamic's supposed to be about. There is no healing in that. And we don't want an exchange of ideas. We want to win. More importantly, we want the other side, and we need there to be one, to lose. And that is not a good recipe for conversation. It is not a good place to sell in a marketplace of ideas. And it's not a place to grow. It's not a place to change. It's not a place for progress. And if you look at what's lacking all around us, you'll see we need more of all of those things. We have a Congress that can get through the bare minimum of their responsibilities. Why? Because opposition is their primary position, to just oppose. And, News Nation has a new poll out that what you guys want most is compromise. Now, one, I think you say that, but you don't mean it because you get sucked into the game. But I wish it were true. I wish so much that you evaluated the people you vote for on the basis of what they got done. I really do. It would change so much.
Also from the Rainn Wilson interview, Kawana Blake writes, our children need to be taught a curriculum that would prepare them to take on these leadership skills so that everyone has an opportunity to serve and do it well if elected to positions in government.
Why don't you teach them? Teach your own kids. Don't be so reliant on what school does. What kind of person your kid's going to be is more about you. I mean, look, you're going to lose to environment a lot, nature and nurture. But the idea that, we can barely deal with what we're doing in schools now. You want to expand the load on teachers? I agree with you in terms of what our curriculum should reflect. I think that the exigency, the need, the pressure of being a good person and how to be a citizen and how to be civilized has become more important than really just about anything else that's covered in the curriculum. We don't treat each other right. We're violent and mean and looking to take people down, looking for weaknesses and exploiting them way too often in our society and rewarding it. So I don't know what would be more important to teach kids than that. How to deal with conflict, how to deal with judgment and to not judge, and what that looks like, and to do scenarios with how to behave. Because if you think about it, all of our virtue-making institutions have broken down. I mean, there's so many who don't have the time or inclination to be with their own kids, their own loved ones, communities. More people bowl, but there's less leagues. We don't come together. We don't take care of one another. We're in competition all the time. And instead of running faster, we just want others to fall. And we precipitate that in too many ways. And it doesn't have to be this way. And there are many people who don't live this way. Sure, we're flawed. I mean, that's why I always laugh at Greg and you guys when there's any suggestion about me running for office. We better be able to do better than me, okay? I know the game. I'm an observer of it. I've been doing this a long time. I take my job seriously and I work hard at it, I'm not a leader. I don't want me leading. I want better than me. I'll test who leads us. I can do that. But you can do better than me. And not just because of how profoundly flawed I am, but I don't want it. Our leaders should want to be in these positions for the right reasons. And we can do so much better. But don't cut yourself out of the equation. Other people need to do certain things. Think about what you can do, because that's actually in your control.
This is from the episode where we announced the channel has hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Joanna Roberts Rogers writes, what's the time frame for starting the new subs group? Anxious to see it get off the ground. Thank you, Chris.
I don't know. Look, a lot of people keep saying, the only reason I would do it is because it was going to be seen as helpful and that it would be successful in a way because, resonance, reach, those things matter. And I want whatever I'm doing to have maximum impact. I hear that that's what people want me to do with the walk and talk, that they believe that there is a confusion between the walk and talk and the other offerings, and that's a different thing, and that they like that separately and it should be separated out. But then if we do that, they are fairly popular, and that would affect the number delivery for overall podcast, and that would change the ad revenue. So then I got to make that up by making a subscription, and then you got to pay. And then people said, you said it would be free. And then I feel like am I being a greedy asshole who's exploiting people that I actually want to help if I can? I don't know. I don't know what to do. What do you think?
These are similar comments. This is from Cheney Berlin. Is that a sculpture made of moss? Looks cool. Pat Chipperfield writes, congrats, Chris. I got to ask, is that a living green space behind you?
Moss, yes. Living, no.
Can you elaborate on what this
That's
art
not
is?
enough?
Well, no, I think it's people are curious by this. I've read articles about this type of installation. I'd never seen one before I came to take this job, and that is like a curated moss wall, right? Like it's
Yeah.
And somebody has to come by and care for it every so often?
No, because it's dead, you see.
Yes. I was under the impression that these had to be like maintained in a certain way.
Yeah, you were wrong.
Okay. So
Now, somebody could have a vertical garden or a wall garden, and then you would have to maintain it. Or I suppose you could put moss in exactly that way, and then you would need to spray it and make sure it has sunlight because it's a plant. I hope that was edifying, the information that I'm supplying, whether or not I'm denying or whether I'm just trying. Yes, rapping. Thank you so much for sending the comments and the questions. Keep them coming. It's all part of being a free agent. Independent thought, critical thinking. I appreciate them, and I'll respond to as many as I can. I'll see you here or on News Nation, 8 p, 11 p Eastern. Let's get after it.